So in this, what is this called?
A quarantine.
In this quarantine, they decided to make a cake.
Took us 6 hours, but nailed it!
The Prioress Tale is disturbing to us because of its terrible anti-Semiticism. But the question is if there is anything worthwhile in the tale worth looking at. Unfortunately, like Wagner, there is. Look, for example, at its opening invocation to Mary. O mother maid, O maid mother free, O bush unbrent brenning in Moses' sight. What a rich group of lines. First you can see chiasmus, mother and mother on that line, maid and maid. You can make an X out of that. O mother maid, O maid mother free, O bush unbrent brenning in Moses' sight. Brent and brenning, that's a repetition of two roots. Burning, of course, burn and burning, in other words. That is polyptoton, but put next to each other, that is epizeusis. You also have anaphors, O and O, and that O is also apostrophe, addressing someone that is not present in your audience. O mother maid, O maid mother free, O bush unbrent brenning in Moses' sight. Its complex use of figures is pretty good, and it reminds you of Shakespeare. Now, what about the song that the child sings, this Alma Redemptoris Mater, or nourishing mother of the Redeemer? It's a antiphon. That's a short song or chant used in the liturgy. In particular, it's a Marian antiphon, which means it's a song around the Virgin Mary. Now, you understand what alma mater means. What is your alma mater? My alma mater is UCLA. Your alma mater, Cal State Fullerton, or my daughter's is LSU. What does alma mater mean? Alma mater means nourishing mother. Whatever alma mater you're from, whatever your alma mater originally is, that's your nourishing mother. What it means is that you have been nourished with the milk of knowledge and eloquence. And once you've left your school, you have grown up. Basically, the university is like a nurse. Likewise, Mary nourishes the child with eloquence. And even the prioress needs to be nourished by Mary. The play opens with a medieval duality. Storytelling is labor. That's the medieval notion. That's what rhetoric is, a kind of labor, a kind of working through language, and literature through the classic inspiration. So here we have her say, to tell a story I will do my labor. And then she asks, not the muse, which is part of the invocatio, but Mary, a new invocatio, guideth my song that I shall of you say. When you think about Mary nourishing this child with eloquence, the result is a song, but the song is almost disembodied from his body. Remember, his throat is cut, but it's still intimate to his body because the song seems to come from within. Now, the tale, when it's not completely offensive, shows us how learning and inspiration and serendipity, which are those beneficial chance encounters, all come into play. This little child, his little book learning, as he sat in the school at his primer, he Alma Redemptoris heard sing as children learned her antiphona. It's happenstance. That's the way inspiration works. He's a 7-year-old boy. That means he's in that age of reason. He's in a grammar school connected to a cathedral or large church. And then later with universities, he's a clergion. That's a French word for a young clerk in minor orders. In other words, a schoolboy. And as for the primer, that's his first textbook. A primer teaches you how to read Latin. So he's learning his Latin ABCs. And he hears this song from older classmates learning their antiphonor. And an antiphonor or antiphony is a liturgical songbook used by choirs for singing antiphons. So the point is, he's a child. He's distracted. Latin is hard to learn. But that song he hears is so beautiful. Notice we're about to finish one of the Rime Royale stanzas. This story is written in the Rime Royale. And as he durst, he drew him near and near, and hearkened I the words and the note, till he the first verse could all by rote. He listens to the melodies and the words, and he memorizes the first line, but he doesn't understand these words. Naught wist he did not know what this Latin was to say, for he so young and tender was of age. But on a day his fellow gan he pray, start bugging his friend to expound in him this song in his langage. In other words, translate the Latin, or tell him why this song wasn't usage. I like how the older student who is among these singers, he's also a Latin learner, is still not fully literate. That is, he still is learning to read and understand Latin. But he attempts to describe the purpose of this Marian antiphon. His fellow, which that elder was than he, answered him thus: This song I have heard say was mocked of our blissful Lady Frey, her to salute, like Ave Maria, Ave, to salute her, and ache her for to pray, to be our help and succor when we die. I can no more expound in this matter. I can't expound any further on this material. I learn song. I know, but small grammar. He doesn't understand its content either, except for the ending. But if he could expound on this song, he would have found that it's filled with epithets. Mary, the nourishing mother, that's the Alma Redemptoris Mater. Mary as the Stella Maris, the star of the sea, which is one of her more traditional images. She's also described as the gate of heaven. She's also called Natura Mirante, a wonder of nature, because she gives birth while being a virgin. And she also receives Gabriel's Ave, or greeting. Then the antiphon ends with a request or petition. Have pity on us sinners. Now, this boy, being unable to expound on its contents, the particulars of the words then are beyond either of their grasp. But it doesn't matter. The fact that this 7-year-old boy sings this song by rote, and this does not carry the same meaning as the man of law's legal memorization by rote of cases in order to compose a airtight composition, nor the pardoner's con man patter, where he memorizes by rote his sermon's theme of cupiditas in order to get money from the gullible gentry. Here there's something deeper, where memorization goes beyond intelligibility, where grammar and literacy lose all of their significance. In other words, we're at the limit of language. But when you think about all of these epithets, all these namings, calling her the star of the sea, the alma mater, still it shows that language has limits, right? That language cannot get beyond its own limits. Why? Because it relies on positive naming, right? You're identifying things that are not really of this world with names of this world. Now, mystics recognize this limit of language and the problem of positive attributions when they thought, positive attributions like gate of heaven, sea star, naming things for what they are, by thinking about them in terms of their negations. They call this negative theology. In other words, she's not the sea star, she's not the sea star. She's not the alma mater, she's not the gate of heaven, in order to find her or God. In other words, by marking out where language doesn't work, by negating all positive attributes, somehow you can get to the thing. It's very similar also in troubadour poetry. When you look at the early troubadour poetry, before French fixed verse poetry, before French trouvère poetry, before Middle English poetry, the troubadours are hunting for a lady that language cannot fully describe. And you get the sense that the poems are going around and around and around this circle where she's at the center, but she's like a hole that you can never reach. That's kind of what singing with your throat cut means. It's how you get closer to the idea of the miraculous as an impossibility. It's a wonder. And remember, in that song, the Alma Redemptoris Mater, she is described as a natura mirante, right? She's a marvel, a bewildering marvel, a surprising manifestation that goes against nature. She's not natural in that sense. And you can see that's why miracles are so shocking moments, how they make you fall into great awe, is because they're not supposed to be happening. Now, in this miracle story, and that's another one of the genres of this story, this miracle story ends with a physical trace. To me she came and bade me for to sing this antiphon verily in my dying, as ye han heard. And when that I had sung, methought she laid a grain upon my tongue, wherefore I sing and sing I must certain. They plucked this grain from out of his mouth, this small seed that had blossomed into song. And when they pluck the seed out, he dies. So what does the grain mean then? Well, you can look at Aristotle and think of generative nature of forms, how an idealized form is waiting to be actualized. But also, you can think of the germination of language coming out of this grain, the seed. Or you can think of it as Roland Barthes did in an interesting essay, as the purest expression of a voice unencumbered by language, by grammar, or by intellect. Now, he wasn't a medievalist and he never read Chaucer because the French don't think Chaucer's that great. But the grain is, for him, the physical, material body singing its mother tongue. And that's exactly what he said. What that means is it's the language natural to the singer, not language as it is learned through the arts. Think of rhetoric, think of techniques of song, singing. It's language that is not distorted by intelligibility, or I love this, what he said, self-expression. So when you're thinking about the boy's song, this alma mater, this nourishing song, this maternal language that he evokes, it makes it even purer. The boy sings a song completely unintelligible to him, but true to his mother.
Alright guys, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring that notification bell.
Yes.